All right. So this video is a dude that got caught. It says, gente nueva salas agarran a un delta. Scorpions versus 8 Balls. It says, plebada, mejor póngase a estudiar. No está fácil. All right. AKA, get your ass to studying. It ain't easy. All right. Now listen to this kid's experience. Okay.
Me llamo Raimundo.
My name is Raimundo.
¿Cuántos años tienes? 18 años.
How old are you? 18 years old. What's your job?
Soy el pistolero de los Deltas.
I'm a gunner for the Deltas. So what was his job? His job was a gunner for the Deltas.
El gente de los Deltas.
¿Cuál es el nombre de tu encargado?
What's the name of your boss?
Me hace mandar cosas, ¿qué hacer?
¿Cuánta gente tiene peleando en contra de nosotros?
They're asking him how many people were over there and this, that, the other. They're trying to get info out of him.
Como unos 50 o 30, pero aquí cerquita son 30 y más para allá hay unos como 20.
He said that there's 20 people in one spot and 30 in another spot. 50 altogether.
¿Cuánto tiempo tienes trabajando para los botones?
Un mes.
How long have you been working for those tenderfoots?
¿Cuánto te pagan?
How much do they pay you?
Dijeron que cuando me contrataron 12, pero cuando llegué acá dijeron que 8.
When they contracted me, they told me 12, but when they got me here, it was 8. So Buddy been getting screwed all over the place, all right?
¿Cuál es tu objetivo?
What is your objective?
Su objetivo es entrar acá en el SARI.
I guess his objective was to infiltrate something.
¿Te capturaron?
How did they capture you?
Ahí en el cerro de donde está la antena.
¿Cómo te capturaron? ¿Cómo fue que te capturaron?
How did they capture you?
Íbamos corriendo y mi compa me dijo,
We were running and my friend
corre compa más adelante
told me to run ahead of him.
tú. Y me tiró unos 2 plomazos. Y ahí quedé yo tirado y él corrió y a mí me agarró.
And he shot him in the leg. His friend told him to run ahead of him. He shot him in the legs, passed him up, left him there, turned it over. This is what you want to be. This is what you're signing up for. This is your heroes.
Porque son fotos traicioneros.
Creo que sí.
And then they call him 16 different kind of bitches. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Bro, your boy done shot you in the leg and let the Contras get you. Bruh. What part of the game is that? So let me ask y'all, are y'all signing up for, somebody got a job offer for you, right? If you knew ahead of time that in a situation that this filthy job, you got to run for your life, your own guy might leave you behind as a chum for the Sharks. You still going to take the job? Like, what's happening? Think like Kidnapper said, bro, you ever ask a hardcore gangbanger why they do it? I mean, I have to. We all just saw it. We saw what was what. Everybody knows what's what. Hardcore gangbanger now, he can't give you an answer. Hardcore gangbanger then can't give you the right answer. This is what I do. What hardcore gangbanger is going to answer that question? I don't know. I don't think they got an answer. Not one that will make more sense than, hey, bro, your boy going to leave you here as chum for the Sharks. Like, what?
People go risk their life trying to unalive other people. Their own people shoot them in the leg so that they could get away. But that's a perfect analogy of what that world is. Be honest, shooting him in the legs in that situation wasn't going to cause him death. It was going to cause him suffering. I can't even imagine the type of suffering he could, he was going to go through when the rivals grabbed him. And that's what this world is. Not just the cartels, man. I'm talking about the criminal world.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to shoot you in the leg so they could get away. Did you hear what he said he got paid?
Yeah, he said they contracted him for 12 and gave him 8.
How much do you think he's talking about?
Pesos.
Pesos.
So Hollywood owed you $5 million, but he also stole your Lambo. Why did you have a Lambo in the States if you was living in Mexico?
We had a lot of cars. We had a lot of cars everywhere. And we had a couple cars It's a long story, but the cars we had bought some really nice cars for the girls. So whenever they went back, they could have cars. But they just never wanted to drive them. So
You guys wouldn't have made the moves you made. Who knows? Maybe Chapo would have turned you guys in at some point, like he did with many of his top operators in the cartel. My opinion.
Well, I believe. I mean, you never know, but I wouldn't believe that he would have turned me in again because I didn't want to be them. You hear me? All the people that are training, all the people. I mean, but you never know. If you pay attention, they were all dudes that were making names. Like he didn't like Chino Antrax, Macho Pedro, Manuel Torres. All them people that were training in on each other all had names for themselves, and but they were basically mini drug lords. You get me?
Jay, how was your relationship with Edgar?
Oh man, you see, these are the questions I feel weird at kind of answering because like I really liked Edgar. He was probably I felt like he was the more humble one, with a straight head, like you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say like he pursued me, like he was smart enough to know that working with me was gonna, you know, kind of like be beneficial for him.
Right, he reached out.
Yeah, man. The minute he would hear in the radios that I was there, he was like always making sure that he like came where I was gonna be at, or we end up meeting up.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like the more, I think like the more businessman, like the more business person, I guess, from all of them at the time, and he was already moving heavyweight for real. And I want to tell you something from everyone, because you know everyone talks shit about each other. He was probably the one that they didn't talk bad about.
That be the one that suffers all the time.
Meaning, like he was like even in those little, you know, situations I was in. Because I'm gonna tell you, like most of these younger dudes that later on became someone at that time, they were not respected like that by the, you know, by the dudes, like the real dudes. The ones that you hear about, like Okra and Leach talk about, Shy, some of those people, that you probably don't ever heard of, but they wouldn't respect them. So I used to hear them speak highly about him too as well. So sad, you know. He died at a young age, so.
Now, where was he in the order? Was he one of the older ones or one of the younger ones? Or?
I want to say I think he was younger than Ivan. I think he was younger than Ivan. I remember I ran into him. Well, no, I didn't run into him. He came to where I was at. We were at the Ferias in Culiacan. And he showed up, and he must have had like 40, 50 dudes with him, walking with him. And he was with a girl. And I remember, man, some of these, they were young-ass kids, man. I'm talking about 15, 16 years old, some of the people he had.
Omar Carranza said, when the twins went to the meetings with the Capos, did they dress normal or dress top-notch out of respect? Or how were the others dressed?
Now, most of the times, this is funny, but most of the time we went, I like made it a point to go as hip hop as I could go.
That's why they made y'all look like that in the Netflix show. Yo, did y'all see how they made them look in the Netflix show? They did them dirty. They just put two assholes. One with his hat broke off all the way like this. One with his hat broke off all the way.
Like some bro, like they think we're like some Colombian gang members or something.
So that's what you would do. You get hip hopped out to go see the bosses. That's funny.
Like you know, for them. Okay, so look, funny. Early on, I would, you know, and then later on, I always like I always dressed, you know, like the way I should, like properly. But you know, at that time it was probably a little bit more like button-up shirts and you know, and like polo shirts maybe or something like that. But when early on, I'll be like, man, I'll make sure I put on my earrings and a big old chain. The iciest watch I had, you know, I wear shorts, Timbs, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to make sure that they stood that everyone understood that wasn't them.
Differentiate.
They would call, yeah, they would call us, like, real talk. They would call us at the time because the only thing they could relate to us,
Daddy
looking the way we
Yankee.
look, was to Daddy Yankees.
Gasolina, the gasolina guys.
Because right after that started coming out, then that's the only thing they could relate to us. Like, or describe us as, I guess.
Right. Felix Reyes, he said they called you. No, they called him Daddy Yankee. That's what they called him. Somebody asked a question in the comments that I thought was interesting. They asked if any of the guys towards the top or around the top or even guys in the middle tier, did they ever have civilian friends or people that they dealt with that had nothing to do with nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. As a matter of fact, well, I used to hear so many stories, just regular friends that they grew up with, that they knew, that they respected. Oh man, I've heard so many stories about, like, actually I knew some of them by chance, and they used to get really nice gifts, every nice in a while, from bulls to trucks and all kinds of stuff.
Get you a bull? Just show up to a party and leave with a bull? They wild.
They used to, like, send them, if they're into cattle and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We already asked the overrated Sicario question. Which ones did you think were an asshole? Were there anybody that you just didn't like, thought they were a dick?
Mencho.
Wow. He came off that way too, huh?
Oh, he was a dick.
Really?
He wasn't my cup of coffee. There's a couple of dudes. There's a couple of dudes.
There has been a development, y'all. All right. Jay went on a podcast the other day, and he let the cat out the bag.
I'm sorry.
He let the cat out the bag. All right. I was right there. I was watching. I was eyeballing. Jay reached out to Saul and spoke to him. Saul, for those that don't know, Saul is the gentleman that was the napper, that he kidnapped your grandmother. All right. There was nobody safe, and he was the driving factor of the kidnapping of Peter in Chicago. And Jay reached out to him. Jay, tell us how that went, and then we'll get to these super chats.
Yeah, man. Listen, I want to tell you something. Like, something in me, I'm growing closer to Christ each and every day. I thank Him for all His blessings, everything I've gotten me to this point. With I think Yushai had really helped, kind of like made me realize things and see things, and I think about those moments, and I think about, I don't say I had hate or whatever, and I think that me realizing that made me start to think, like, I never, like, hated him, or I never, felt this way. But then I think about how he may be looked at and how he's actually seen, especially with some of the stuff I got going on, and I just, felt like compelled. I feel like, you know, God was telling me to kind of like do the right thing, and I ended up reaching out to him, and I wrote him a letter, and I told him that, I had forgiven him for all the stuff he had put me and my family through, and I believe that, who am I to even judge, or to even carry, any type of resentment or hate, especially, when you look at my actions. And I was uh, very surprised about, his situation, and there's gonna be more to come with that. But yeah, I felt like it was a good feeling, and hopefully with, me making that decision, me being able to reach out, hopefully I'm able to, touch him and touch other people as well. And I'll tell you, like, that's, Christ in me, and I feel like, man, these things that we go through, I'm glad that, my brother's alive. I'm glad that, we got over that. It really affected us, but it's, what led us to where we're at today. And, you know, some of these things that we go through could always be looked at as blessings later, And I'm sure people are gonna have a hard time understanding that.
Yeah, y'all better than me. I'd have called them and be like, "What's up, puto?" You know what I'm saying? Did your brother have an opinion?
You know what? I
And
want to leave
of course,
that
we'll let
a
him.
little bit.
You know what?
Yes, I want to leave that to him to decide, you know?
Michelle said, Saul is not our friend. Sally Correa said, God bless you for that. It's all about forgiveness, even though sometimes it could be really hard. Yeah, that's a rough one for me. Forgiveness is the best thing for our souls. We do it for ourselves, not the person who harmed us.
Absolutely. And I really think that it's really gonna, I mean, just from understanding the situation, I really think that that's gonna be passed along in a good way. That makes me, that's a good feeling, you know?
So like I said, Saul, I didn't watch the whole thing. Now let me ask you, can I ask you how was his reception of you reaching out?
Emotional.
Really? Now in the
We'll get to
future,
that.
we are gonna hear more about this, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Jorge Castillo said, F. Saul, we don't need to shine light on that dude. I will say this. We wouldn't need to shine light on him if this was a glorification channel. But we're not glorifying here. I need people to know and understand that there's a person that exists, right? It's not solely exclusive to Saul. There's a person that exists that will have you snatched up, will come to your rescue and charge you interest. Those people exist.
Yeah.
That dude that walked into that crib that Vitaly caught last night, that came out of layers of clothing in front of them kids, that dude exists. So we do shine light on these people because they need to have a light shined on them. Good light, bad light, whatever, indifferent. To me, it's fuck him too. But he's definitely a part of the story, and he will continue to be talked about.
I will say that I think, again, cautionary tale, right? And I think he's a great example what supposedly, I mean, this is what's weird. The culture, right? The narco, drug dealing, drug trafficking, gangster, America, Mexico culture would tell you that he's supposed to be the person you guys look up to,
Facts.
right? And then you put it there, then, you know, people have something to say. Oh, no, no, that's too much. No.
You're
You know,
going
the
too
twins
far.
are too soft. He's too evil.
Too much.
Basically, man, that's what's out there. That's the truth. And one thing for sure is that there's no difference in how everyone suffers. And I will say, I'm sure that today he probably, you know, prays to God that he wasn't the way he was, or he was in those circumstances. Because I know I do. But I think that's a great, you know, thing to highlight,
Mm-hmm.
Shy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about picking and choosing, right? It's like not when you come and you say a story, when you
Yeah.
started saying, you know, talking a story about us, it wasn't because you liked us.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, it's, you know what's funny? Let's talk about that on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
We have 74 people on here right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have, you know,
We should have 74 likes
thousand,
then. 77 likes, y'all.
yeah, yeah. So you're gonna have 1,000, you know, 1,000 people one day, you know, hundreds of thousands of people look at this videos, and I'm gonna say this: everyone has a comment about our lives. That's what we're on here. Because if I wasn't no one and no one cared, you know, you wouldn't care to even be talking to me.
Right.
But most people, just say most people, don't have a background or live the life similar to ours that would call for somebody to be in their business like that. Does that make sense?
They want the information you are here to give, but then they want to tell you what you were wrong, how you were wrong about that information.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll listen and then they'll be like, but you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you think you're like, no, what I'm saying is if it was like that, then you'd have your own channel, you'd be doing your own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But basically, yes, our lives are out there for everyone to read, see, look at, do, you know, have a comment on.
Yeah.
It's different, you know. You have to be in that situation first. My brother made a comment the other day. He said, you know what, most drug dealers are broke. That's a fact. All right? Here and there, you're going to get it, and then you're going to give it all back. So all I'm saying is that don't waste your time with this world. Man, I see all these videos of Shy Town going crazy, especially with the gangbanging. And people don't understand, in the Shy, people don't do it for money. They take money from their parents to go gangbang. And that's a shame. But on the other side of it, man, focus on doing some positive. There's a better chance to go and make a difference in something legit than something that you think will be cool. Because at the end of the day, if you want to impress a girl will be impressed if you show up with a shower, with a nice car or a regular car, and show up with a car, open the door for her, take her to eat McDonald's or whatever you're into, something, and make the best of it. You don't have to have jewelry. You don't have to, that doesn't matter at the end of the day. And then I see these stories where people are like, oh my God, well, you were so intelligent. At your age, you made this much money. I'm like, you know what's intelligent? All these people that don't have, that we don't know about.
Listen, in the last conversation that you guys had when you were here, and when I posted the video, I put the Flores twins, how to get money, right? Because everybody wants to come to the Flores twins and ask them how to get money, right? And the moral of the story is their answer was get it out of the game. There's way more ways to get paid nowadays than there used to be. Get it out of the game because the game ain't even worth the money that you might touch.
You have kids, man. Get them a coding tutor. Give them one of those free lessons online. Make them show them how to code. Show them how to um, start teaching about financial literacy and just something other than it doesn't have to be drug trafficking, man. And I would say if there's women in here, there's girls man. Everyone just wants. I didn't do it because I wanted to be this known drug trafficker. I did it for the money. I keep saying it. People get confused here. I don't care about money. I care about the money that I could make, the money I was making. That's it. That's all we care about. People always want to ask, how do I make money? They think drug trafficking. I'm like, yo, the reason why I think my brother and I even do these things is to it's a deterrence to tell you all the suffering, how it's not worth it. You're not gonna hear us talk about money and stuff like that. We're not just gonna get into that.